is really a pretty challenging thing, and that's what I'm going to speak about in a moment. But instead of simply reading them, which you can do by looking at this window, the best thing to do immediately is to save them. And you save them as a CSV file, which is a comma separated value file, and you can save it wherever you like. Sentient Trader makes up a name for it. It's called wave statistics for ES. .csv, so we can save that. It tells me the wave statistics have been saved, and so I click on the done button there, and then I go to that. I find that file, and I imagine that this is just showing up as a black box for you. So let me enable. That. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. So we saved it in my Sentient Trader Workspaces directory, and we called it Wave Statistics for ES. I double click on that, and it automatically is opened in Microsoft Excel. Because it's a comma-separated value file. So it immediately opens up in Microsoft Excel or any spreadsheet program that you have in your computer. And now that it's been opened up in Microsoft Excel, we can start performing an analysis. Now, to save time, I have already done that. And so let's take a look at how you could analyze this information. And there we go. Let's sort of focus that window a little bit so that we can focus just on that. The first section of the wave statistics have to do with the overall number of patterns and what types of patterns have been found in this market. Okay, there you can see it. Let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation, because I think I can make it a little bit bigger for you, and therefore there we go. Okay, so there's the same thing, just in a much bigger window so that you can understand it. So the first section has to do with the number of patterns that have been found in the total analysis. Now, here are the 5 bull patterns, A, B, C, D, and E. Here are the 6 inverted patterns, 3 bulls and 3 bears, and here are the 5 bear patterns. All that Sentient Trader done is it has counted how many of those patterns have occurred in the market. That is under the total column. You can see there were 101 bull A patterns, 163 bull B patterns, and only 30 bull C patterns. So I see there's a question there. Not seeing the image. Sorry about that. You should have the image back there. Let me change that so that doesn't happen again. Okay. I'm just trying to improve our bandwidth. You got it. Okay. Sorry. So let me go back. All right. So this is the clip from the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and the first thing that is presented to you in the wave statistics is the total occurrence of the number of wave shapes. Now, you will notice under the total column there were 101 bull A's, 163 bull B's, and only 30 bull C's, 190 bull D's, and 92 bull E's. So what's the first thing that you can glean from this information? The first thing that you can say is that this is a little bit like a fingerprint for the S&P 500. And you know that the S&P 500 plays wave shapes, like sort of painting ribbons in the sky. You're going to start thinking I'm a bit weird. I'll concentrate just on the statistics. As the price movement in the S&P 500 changes, it is creating wave shapes, and these are the wave shapes that have been created in the price movement. If you compare the sort of balance of different waves you find in different markets, you have a way of comparing the character of those markets. That's the first thing to understand. What are the next 3 columns here? SUT stands for short underlying trend. I spoke last week about underlying trend. Underlying trend is the total effect of cycles longer than the cycle that you're trading. Short underlying trend refers to only the 2 cycles longer than the cycle that you are trading. In other words, if you're trading the 40-day cycle, then the combined effect of the 80-day and the 20-week cycle, if the SUT, short underlying trend, is -2, then that means both of those longer cycles are causing price to move downwards. They are falling. If the SUT is neutral, then it means that one of the cycles is pushing price up and one of the cycles is pushing price down. If the SUT is 2 or positive, then it means that both of those longer cycles, the 80-day and the 40 and the 20-week cycle, are pushing price upwards. In other words, they're both rising. So now what you would expect is that you would have more bull wave shapes under conditions of a positive short underlying trend. Why? Because the longer cycles are pushing prices up. Therefore, you expect to have bullish wave shapes. Okay? And you'll see that that is true. Under a short underlying trend of 2, which is positive, we have 57 bull A shapes, and we have 0 bull A shapes in a negative underlying trend. And if you have a look at those figures, you will see the different wave shapes all have different sort of manifestations, but it is generally true that under a positive underlying trend, you get more bull patterns than you do in conditions of a negative underlying trend. Neutral underlying trend is interesting because you also get many bull shapes. The neutral underlying trend, it is often very difficult to know whether you're going to end up with a bull or a bear shape. Okay, but these statistics, these numbers that you're looking at, are a little bit like looking carefully at the fingerprint of the S&P 500. If we know that we have a short underlying trend of -2, we know that the chances of the current cycle that we are trading, the chances of the current cycle being a bull A are very small, okay, because there have been 0 bull A's under negative underlying trend. And how many cycle shapes were there altogether? There were 1,121. So we're looking at well over 1,000 wave shapes, and none of them were bull A shapes under negative underlying trend. Okay. Notice something else, and that is that your inverted shapes. I put some total rows at the bottom here. The total number of bull shapes found in the analysis period that this was performed over, I think it was about 13 years. In total, 576 bull patterns were found. 508 bear patterns were found, which makes for a total of 1,084. And there were only 37 inverted patterns. So you see what I'm saying about how inverted patterns are very rare. Inverted patterns indicate unresolved aspects of your analysis. There's no indication here where those inverted patterns were. They could all have been at the 5-day level. Although, because the market is a fractal, what tends to happen is that the fractal, the inverted pattern echoes itself through the fractal, at least 3 or 4 cycles up the fractal, but we won't go into that now. Okay, so these are the sort of overall number of shapes that have been found in your market. And so when you're about to trade it, you know what the underlying trend is of the cycle that you're currently trading, of course. And therefore, you are able to work out, to some extent, what are the statistics, what is the likelihood that I will have a particular bull or bear wave shape. Once you have some idea of what the likelihood is of a particular shape, you trade that specific shape, and you are doing it with statistics on your side. Right. Let's look at the next statistics that you can read, which have to do with the number of bars that are found in each of the cycles. And here again, I've used the same Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, so I won't show that again. And I have colored the background here. For negative short underlying trend is this pale blue. This no background or white background is neutral, 0 short underlying trend, and this green area is positive or +2 short underlying trend. And here we are looking at the number of bars in the 40-day cycle in the S&P 500. And here at the bottom, you'll see I've totaled them. These are all the bull patterns. These are the inverted patterns. You can see there's in fact only one inverted pattern at the 40-day cycle level. That's that one inverted pattern. And here are the bull patterns at the top, inverted patterns in the middle, and the bear patterns at the bottom. What's important, of course, is when you add it all up, you can see here that the sort of summary, if you like, is that wave 1, sorry, I should have explained each one of these areas has 4 columns. The first column is for wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. I have hidden the title bar. The title bar there is really long. It gives you all this detail. I've hidden the title bar. So each column refers to one particular wave, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 1, 2, 3, 4 with a positive short underlying trend. Now, so let's have a look at our totals down here at the bottom. The first figure here, 10.7, tells us that in the 40-day cycle with a negative underlying trend, wave 1 lasted on average 10.7 bars. So it lasted about 10 days. Wave 2 lasted about 8 days with a negative short underlying trend. Let's have a look at wave 1 with a neutral underlying trend. Notice that wave 1 with a neutral underlying trend is also average 10.7 bars. Perhaps I should turn on my white screen and then my whiteboard, and then I can circle these things. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here is 10.7 bars. That's with a negative underlying trend, and that is wave 1. Here, this 10.7 is with a neutral underlying trend, also wave 1, and 16.4 bars is the average length of the 40-day wave 1 with a positive underlying trend. Therefore, when you have a positive underlying trend and you're trading the 40-day cycle, you know that you have a positive underlying trend because of your phasing analysis, and you're able to say, how many bars do I expect this wave to be? Well, on average, you expect it to be 16.4 bars. Remember, that's an average figure. Okay. Let's have a look at wave 2. Here you have 8 days for wave 2 in a negative underlying trend, 6.6 neutral underlying trend, and only 4.3 bars. Wave 2s are very short in positive underlying trend conditions. Wave 2s are very short. It's a very important thing to remember in positive underlying trend conditions. Okay, and so we can continue. We can look at wave 3, of course, and wave 4 in different conditions of underlying trend, and we can look at the statistics. And by understanding the statistics, we can understand the market that we are trading. Now, the next statistic that is presented to you has to do with the percentage price move. So let me turn on my whiteboard again. The percentage price move. When you're about to trade the 40-day cycle and you've got a negative underlying trend, which is all of that section, or a neutral underlying trend, or a positive underlying trend, you want to know what is the average percentage price move that I'm going to get. Let's have a look at wave 1. Wave 1 gives you a positive price move of about 5%. Okay, not very impressive. Wave 1 under positive underlying trend gives you almost double the price move, which is 8.9%. Which is why it's a very poor idea to trade wave 1 under negative underlying trend conditions, because it's not likely to give you very much move, only 5% on average. And whereas under positive underlying trend conditions, wave 1 gives you a 9% move. That's really great. Let's look at wave 4, for instance. Wave 4 under negative underlying trend conditions gives you a good